Hello, in this video you're going to learn how we can render a floor plan using color markers. So we have initiated the process, we have the outline of these furniture pieces, and what I'm going to do is just add some extra shadows here so that they look strong. Some lines there. Alright, so now let's start having fun. So before we work with our markers, we will always want to test the markers on the side just to make sure we have the right color. We don't want to go too dark or too light. So it's always a safe practice to do that. And in this one we have two different line weights, two different tips. So I don't want to use this one. I'd like to use the angle, the chiseled tip. So what I'm going to do is carefully draw or render a series of strokes, making sure not to go over the black lines to smear, to avoid smear. So I am left-handed, so it'll be a little tougher. I want to make sure that I don't get my hand dirty over there, so I'll have to raise my hand a little. Make sure that you work with consistent speeds when you render. Let's just do a bit on overspill there. Let's continue the rendering a bit over the whole way here. Alright, so we have just one pass of color, and we'll use this a second time around to get a different color. So now let's get a different color. Let's get a light blue. If we have a glass surface, I'd like to use a light blue. Alright, we have two glass surfaces, so light blue. Just make sure not to go over the black outlines. And let's see what other colors we can use. Pale cherry. No, not necessarily that one. Now let's see what else, what other colors we have. Alright, so I'm going to do a general wash of color for this sofa and these two. Alright, and actually these three. So when we do a general color, we just have to make sure that we still see the gray through. Alright, so now it's just a matter of finding another color for the carpet. Again, parallel strokes. If we have minor imperfections while the marker is still wet, we can still get them covered. And now we have rendered the space quickly. We can also add, if we want to add some texture, we can add a few dots. Okay, and we can do them too for the other furniture pieces. We can use pencil as well. If we want to suggest a particular texture, or we can use hatching or just parallel lines to suggest a different fabric. We don't need to overdo it, but we can have some fun with this. If the shadows start to appear a bit too gray, we can always add a bit of pencil over them. You see how the shadow disappeared a little bit? We can bring it back by working with a black pencil, making the shadows a bit more transparent that way. So you see how the shadows now appear stronger. So we have a much better shadow now that we have some gray and some pencil on top. You see it's more clear now. Alright, we're not done yet. So now we're going to use the same marker and going to use a few strokes using a ruler to mark my wood planks using the same overall direction that I had for my main color wash stroke. Alright, so we can do something like this and leave it like that. If you think that you can work a bit more, you can always pick a pencil, but you would just have to make sure to sharpen it well. You have a sharp tip now, and you can outline the planks a bit more. And you can do a few diagonal lines to suggest a wooden texture. Alright, so we can always do that. You don't have to spend a lot of time doing that, but just enough so that we get the idea that this is wood. The shadow on this edge disappeared a little bit on this carpet, so let's work more with the pencil. A bit more there. If some of the black outlines on the furniture pieces disappeared, we can always rework them. Okay, so now we have a good rendering of a floor plan. A furniture plan. We would then should not forget to either hatch everything or fill it out in black. So don't forget to poche your walls.